dog smashes out of the cupboard.
Is armed law enforcement on the campus
and prepare and train teachers and other administrators.
So here's my pitch to you. Let's skip having an armed person in every classroom, as the cops in Uvalde failed to do anything anyway. So instead, every school in America has a robot dog with a gun on it. Then, when an armed person enters the room, bam, the dog smashes out of the cupboard and neutralizes the threat.
Okay.
And
no joke though, yeah. All jokes aside though, robots, like, they do like defusing bombs and shit like that, right? And take bombs out, and for bomb squad, they're like really good, right? And they only have like really good robots for a lot of other things. I feel like, maybe I'm wrong, tell me if I'm wrong, if they calibrate it and they do a lot of work on this shit, let's say a real one, this could be actually really fucking good.
From Big Daddy Bay.
Imagine if through an interface, you could aim properly to where you're always hitting the target properly, because it's very well, like, high technology. It'd be fucking insane.
the best part, unlike cops, robot dogs don't get scared.
No?
But before this is implemented around America, I should probably build a prototype first. And luckily, I have fellow soyboy William Osman, who knows nothing about guns, but is good at making dangerous things. Now, the building process was a little bit different to my other videos, as when I came up with this idea, I didn't actually have the robot dog, a gun, or a place to shoot it, which turns out are all quite
RoboCop would probably be better than normal cops.
quite important. And I do actually happen to know a fellow YouTuber that owns a robot dog that he spent a very large amount of money on, which they've only filmed one video with, and is now collecting dust in their house without a gun strapped to it. But unfortunately, that person is lame and didn't want to get arrested. So I needed to find someone else that was keen.
xQc
And lucky for me, a man named Jonathan Miller that lives in El Paso, Texas, agreed to let me use his robot dog, but on one condition. He needs to remain anonymous. So, William Osman and I started the hard process of designing a bracket for the robot dog and a system to remotely fire the gun without actually having the robot dog or gun. And our plan is to use a pre-made gun holder that can adjust to fit many different types of guns, which will sit on top of the dog. Then we designed and 3D printed some parts. And by we, I mean William designed the complicated one, and I designed this cylinder with holes in it. And this system works by having a servo motor here with a string attached to the servo arm, which runs through the trigger. Then all we did was connect the servo to a remote control. And now...
Jesus, I don't know what I thought was going to happen.
Don't film me.
What did you make, William?
It's able to squeeze the trigger of this fake gun, which is honestly already terrifying.
This feels like we're doing a terrorist attack.
It feels wrong, but I don't think there's anything wrong with it.
And now that we've made the system, we need to travel to meet Jonathan Miller in Texas.
This is wild, illegal, xQc head. Wait, you...
And barely 10 minutes after we picked up the dog, we realized we messed up.
Oh no shit.
The mounting system was not going to fit the dog how we thought it would. So we had to make some changes, which we couldn't do in our hotel room. So we put on some hard hats and high vis and sat in the parking lot of our hotel with some work cones, and no one asked any questions. And the dog was actually slightly helpful in fixing itself.
They're kind of cool.
Except when he got too excited. But eventually, after 2 hours of using the wrong tools, we managed to get the mount to properly fit. So now, we just had to get a gun.
Oh my god.
Jesus!
And lucky for us, we were in the same place as Brandon Herrera. One of YouTube's biggest
Was it a 50 cal fucking... It looks like a 50 cal RPG with hollow.
And lucky for us, we were in the same place as Brandon Herrera. One of YouTube's biggest gun channels, and a man that lives just down the road from the Uvalde shooting, and believes America needs more guns. And even though Brandon and I share very different political opinions, I got in touch with him and explained what we were doing. and he agreed to let us go to his range where we could safely shoot the dog and to also use some of his guns. Now Brandon has a lot of guns, like a lot, and definitely was practicing his Second Amendment right to bear arms by owning a missile, a gun for taking down.
What? I want to see some of these though. These are gonna look kind of cool. Guys, I'm not a big gun fan. I said this last time, but I kind of like guns. Does that make sense? I said something last time. Let me just look at some of these. Those are pretty cool.
Second Amendment right to bear arms by owning a missile, a gun for taking down helicopters, and a World War I machine gun. Now,
I think humans are too stupid for guns, but I like the guns themselves.
Definitely wouldn't try to rob a man with a missile. But lucky for us, he also had some light, fully automatic weapons which we could put on the dog. And he recommended
Check this
the
vital
MP5,
link,
which doesn't have much recoil. And based on the dog's sketchiness so far, I think we want as little recoil as possible. So we adjusted the mount to fit the gun, and then turned on the dog so we could put the mount on top of it.
You don't know when he's gonna jump up and strike. Whoa!
Cute. They're like cool pieces. Okay, dude.
We're gonna die. You know, I'm not so worried about Skynet anymore. We're gonna die.
Alrighty, let's put a gun on this thing.
What could go wrong? Was that his battery?
He shot his own battery out.
And that filled us full of confidence. So we strapped down the gun and mounted it to the dog using some ratchet straps.
Alright, here we go. Ah! Okay.
I mean,
If you tilt his head, you go the other way.
And I'm starting to think this dog is scared of guns too. He's just shaking all over the place. But it seems like we can still aim in the up and down and side to side directions, and most importantly, can still jump shot.
No, don't do it. Don't
you
do
watch it. You watch it.
Why would you do it? Because it's gonna face them as well. Don't do it. I don't know why we would do that.
jump shot.
I want to know what that is.
Yeah.
Jesus, man.
So we think the dog is working well enough. So we packed it up and a heap of guns and took it out to Brandon's private range in the middle of nowhere.
I got my corn dogs. Let me rush up.
And seeing this robot dog in real life actually walk around with a gun on top of it was pretty surreal and terrifying, especially knowing how easy it was for us idiots with no real experience to make this in a couple of days. But we still don't know if it works.
Whoa!
And it's having even more trouble walking around out here on the uneven surfaces, and most of the time it kind of just gets off balance and then runs off in that direction.
It's still slipping sideways.
But it should still work. So we decided it was time for the very first test shot, which is the perfect opportunity for us to work out the aiming system as well, which is just going to be a GoPro positioned behind the gun sights connected to my phone. Then once it seemed to be lined up with the sights, Brandon put a single round in and I attempted to hit this white claw. But first, a word from the sponsor of this video, NordVPN. I've been using NordVPN since I was a child, and it's allowed me to comfortably and safely use the internet. It has Australia thing. It's risk-free with Nord's 30-day money-back guarantee. Okay, back to the robot dog test shot.
Yeah, what? Can you run it? No, just run it. Yeah. You ready?
Yeah! Nailed it!
Oh, nice.
And the aiming was pretty difficult, but it is accurate. And best of all, the dog barely moved when it shot. So we moved on and set up some props to test how the dog goes in a school shooting situation.
I think our aim is going to be to not shoot the children
That's a pretty controversial statement.
And I thought the gun boys would stop us when we whipped out the school kid targets, but they were still keen for me to put them up and run through a school shooting scenario. And I feel bad even setting up these targets to shoot, so let's hope the gun dog is accurate enough to only take out the bad guys.
So we're trying to hit this guy
Yep.
and this guy.
And this is where it starts to get very dangerous. As before, it was stationary, but now the dog is going to be running around with a submachine gun with 30 rounds of ammunition.
This is starting to feel very real now.
Yeah. Now I'm nervous. I'm really nervous.
And it wasn't only us. The gun boys were
Least
also
edgy
very
Australian.
nervous around this gun when it was placed in the hands of something unpredictable. And based on how much it loved to jump around, I don't think we can really be behind him. So the plan is to hide behind a mound on the left from where we can safely control the dog. I would be on aiming duty, and William would be controlling the safety remote, which needs to be turned on, and then also shooting.
What do you call this position?
The T-pose.
What does it do?
It makes it obvious that no one is touching the remotes.
So I set down the dog in front of the targets. And then Brandon cocked the first round and we were ready for the real test. And I very quickly realized a problem. I thought I'd be able to hide behind the mound and control the dog, but the mound interrupts the GoPro's signal. So I actually need to place my hands above the mound with a line of sight in order to control the dog.
Even if we're above the berm,
Oh,
fine, because if some wonky down, all we have to do is get below.
Yeah, I've got it aimed on a couple of things.
There you go.
Okay.
You want me to shoot? Trigger's armed. Tell me when.
Yeah, shoot.
Trigger disarmed.
Shoot. Shoot. Shoot.
I put mustard on my corn dog.
Hold it, hand dog, shoot.
Okay, it's disarmed.
Okay. Yeah. Shoot. Shoot. Shoot.
Did you guys forget the siren?
Fell over.
Dog fell over.
Oh.
And after reviewing the damage, it was worse than I thought.
Oh, Alan!
Wait, what?
Absolutely face shot this kid. That was a kill shot. If that's what you were going for, you did a great job.
for that. I was going for his bubble.
I didn't hit any bad guys, and I took out one kid. It's alright though. I think I've worked out the problem. We need more ammunition, and we need the gun to be fully automatic.
What?
Ow! What the f*** are you doing? Can you press the button? Press the button.
And you know how I said I was scared of this thing before? And people online are always saying how scared they are of these becoming the future of warfare? I now kind of feel the opposite and less worried about robots. These things are expensive and, more importantly, idiots. And if the military wants to kill people, it's always going to be cheaper and easier for them to just trick young boys into doing it for them.
Yeah, she is in rock and roll.
Shoot.
Full auto.
Jesus Christ.
Shoot.
And the dog really can't handle the gun and always ends up on the ground. And not only that, the recoil causes the dog to run backwards while freaking out and lifting its legs in the air, spraying across all the targets. But this time, I did a little better with the aiming and managed to hit our school shooter twice in his vital organs, his finger and his bag. So this time, in order to guarantee we would hit the target, we placed the dog directly in front of this old man. And then tried again with another full
Why him, though?
30-round magazine.
Everybody's dead.
You get about one burst before the dog falls over.
Got some good hits. The leg there, that's a nice little femoral bleed. This guy's not going to be doing any kitty diddling anytime soon. Got
Whoa.
Jesus.
2, 3, 4,
What mouth
5,
shot.
6.
His mustache.
Dude,
I mean,
that's pretty
so it
good.
works if you start it.
These are like
get on with something in front of it.
Yes,
But
exactly.
In terms of aiming, oh my god.
Was there any collateral? Oh my god.
Collateral here.
Why every time I hit a kid, it's just a headshot?
And at the end of that, we hit 2 bad guys and 2 kids, which isn't actually that bad and is a similar rate to normal American police. But there was still one thing I wanted to try, a real jump shot.
But why?
Yep. All right. We good to go? Yep. That is live and on semi.
And as you can see, I don't think I've really solved America's school shooting problem. It's almost as if the more guns you have in the classroom, the more kids get shot.
What the?
But I don't think this whole thing has been a complete waste of time. And I think I've realized how this dog can really help American police.
Jesus, this guy, man. Okay, dude. Okay, dude.